Hello everyone, my name is 𝐦𝐨𝐵𝐞. I'm the lead machine learning engineer of Superlinked, and today I would like to show you one of our coolest new features. In general, if you're wondering about a feature, the best place to look for is the feature notebooks on our open source repo. Here, what I will like to show you today is the natural language querying feature. It is essentially a tool to detect user intent and transform natural language query of the user into a structured superlinked query. Looking at the feature notebook, what I would like to point the attention to is this query definition after we created an OpenAI config that mainly consists of your OpenAI API key and an OpenAI model that will be used through the instructor model. Now looking at the query, what's added is this withNaturalQuery clause, which will essentially be the tool through which you can supply your natural language query into the system. This clause has two parameters. First is the natural query itself, which can be a dynamic parameter that you can supply when running the query, and the OpenAI config that we just discussed. So now let's load in some data and try the feature out. What it will achieve is that it will fill all the parameters in the query based on the user intent detected from the natural language query, with a few exceptions like limit radius and of course the input to the natural query itself. So if we look back at the query, we can see that these various params will be filled using the natural language query that we or the user supply. Now let's fire up our first natural language query. We will search for products with very positive reviews that are recommended for purchase. Let's see what the system can make of this. What we see are all high-rated positive reviews about products. If we'd like to take a look at the actual parameters that the NLQ solution extracted from the natural language query, we can do that using the KNN params attribute on the results. In this case, we can see how the space weights got extracted, how a rating filter got the 5 values, so only the very positive reviews we see, and we can see how the query text was extracted from the query. An important thing to note here is that now we can also add descriptions to params. So in order to help the natural language query fill up the params in the query, we can add textual descriptions to help the parsing or the extraction. Now let's look at some other examples. In this next example, we're only specifying the rating as a filter, so there's no similarity search happening, hence the all 0 scores, just the 5 rated reviews are filtered out. It is also important to note that if we explicitly set a parameter in the query, this will not be overridden by anything extracted from the natural language query, so you can explicitly set param values from the outside. And last but not least, we can see that the natural language query also works with our withVector clause as well. There is essentially a way to query your database with a stored vector. And what we can see here is by using this very simple query, show me similar reviews to 130, the review ID will be extracted to be 130. So the solution understands the user intent. And that's it. Thank you for listening.